Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is John Willikers, and today in this video we're going to be going over a base design. This is a pretty simple base design. It's built in mind with electricity, so it's very easy for you to throw some circuits down, expand it. Everything is designed in a way to where you don't have to worry about wires not reaching, and it's pretty much considered the electrician's wet dream. A lot of the bases that I've messed with in the past, it'd be 700 rockets, well, not 700 rockets to core, but you know what I'm getting at. It's built in mind that if you want to come raid me, you're gonna have fun doing it, right? And they have all these crazy peak downs and all that. Never in all 1,000 hours I have playing this game have I ever been online raided, unless I fucking talk somebody into it. You really don't get online raided. So I really just wanted to build a base where, it's got electricity. And right now I just have some B-roll footage of me walking around this base. This was actually built on Rusty Moose Main. We built it on force swipe when the new sheet metal update came out. As you can see, all the sheet metal stuff. And here, let me look at my calendar. It has almost been a week. We are now on Tuesday from Thursday. So you can pretty much say that this base made it throughout the whole wipe and survived. We were posted up right outside of Outpost and bottom middle of P16. So if you want to see where we were at. But pretty much, this base is just built in a way that it's, like I said, easy for electricity to be designed. It was also built in mind that, up to 8 people can live in there. Most time only 4 people would be online. So that's what you can see right now with the way I'm walking around. A lot of thought went into the walkways around the base so you didn't have a lot of people running into each other. And yeah, this is pretty much the base design. You can see I'm like walking around the electric room and all that. And you're going to notice too from the video, I didn't follow my video 100%. Like, for example, it didn't fit in the area we picked, so I had to shorten some of the gatehouses down. And I didn't use SAM sites because it was force swipe. We wanted to spend that scrap on better things. And we're playing on an official server, so it's not so easy to get your hand on 2,000 scrap. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's anything else to say besides getting into the video. So thank you guys for watching. Please drop a like if you liked it and subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you would like to see, like certain circuits, stuff like that. Even if you don't end up wanting to build this base because it's not the base design that you're into, I'm pretty sure just following the way the electricity progresses would be good enough tips for you. And yeah, thank you for watching. Alright guys, so what we're building here is just the standard 2x2, nothing really special at all. The only real big differences here is instead of doing a wall frame here, you could just do a normal door if you want to have a true airlock. But if you're going to be going through this phase quite quickly, you can just, leave the double door like I did. Another thing I'd recommend too is if you didn't want to build these loot rooms yet, you can just leave it all open, just so you can put as many boxes down as you can and keep it nice and open so you have enough room to start amassing all the goods and stuff that you need. Just make sure that you, when you place your TC, you really snug it into that corner as best you can. Alright, so now we're going to begin the second floor. We're just going to go ahead and wall this off and throw a triangle down. Once we have that built, we're going to run over to the opposite side of the building where we had our initial door, and this is where we're going to build our roof ramp up. We're going to put 3 triangles down. This just kind of works as honeycombing, plus also lines up where the roof's going to be, and later you're going to see that this will be part of the jump up in the base at one point. Right here I experimented with roof triangles, but there's really no reason to do that. You're just kind of making it easier to raid. But we'll go ahead and put this wall down, and then we're going to put our roof jump up. But right here I made an error. You're going to want to put 2 square foundations down, because you can't put the second foundation down once that roof's been down, unless it's like twig. but you'll see later in the video where I had to destroy that roof and put it down. But once that's done, we're just going to go ahead and basically replicate what we have on these other two sides, except these are going to be true honeycombing on this first layer. So we're just going to honeycomb up. Alright, and then whenever that's done, we're going to come up here, put our door down, as well as fill in these, fill in the honeycomb right here. On this second level, pretty much, there's not going to be much honeycombing except for that little triangle right here. We're going to honeycomb, and then this side over here is going to be a true honeycomb, because this is where our loot rooms are going to be. But right here, we're not going to honeycomb because that's going to be our jump up onto the roof. It's going to be the third floor, but for now it's going to be your roof. But we're going to honeycomb the rest of this wherever we can, because we don't really need that space for anything. Maybe you could knock that wall out and put a locker there if you wanted to. We're going to put our jump up right here. Right here, we're also going to build some loot rooms. Well, the left one's going to be a loot room. I mean, you can make the second one a loot room, but I tend to put my furnaces there because that's where my buffer box is going to be, which you'll see later for when we get the storage sorting, as well as just a nice place for ore to be smelted before it gets sent further into the base. It's a nice, good entry point next to the door. Right here, we're going to basically roof up all this except for that. We're going to leave that open because that's going to be our jump up. And then, yeah, we pretty much have built our second floor. Alright, so now we're at the point where we want to start getting electricity down our base. This is going to be your first thing you build, which is going to be a knee capacitor. We tend to build these because tech trash is very limited in the beginning of the game, and maybe you don't even have good batteries unlocked. Car batteries are 5 high qual, but car batteries are just so bad you really don't want to use them. I'd prefer a knee capacitor over the car battery. You could use that high qual for better things. And what a knee capacitor does is basically just exploits a bug in the game to allow you to trick the game into basically circling the circuit back on itself. And so you're going to be storing a lot of energy into that root combiner right there. We're going to have one solar panel because usually, you'll find a solar panel or have one tech trash, which is just enough to build the solar panel. So we're going to place that down real quick. Right here I made an error. I should have put a branch down and ran the combiner to a branch and then the branch power out to the microphone, but I wasn't thinking straight when I did this, but you'll see later in the chapter that's what we do. Alright, then whenever that's done, next thing is to put down our e-furnaces. So with that one solar panel, you're just going to have enough energy barely to run 3 furnaces. So that's all we're pretty much going to do. And we're going to build this in a way too to where we can upgrade it later to the 9 e-furnace setup. By the way, that is one of my most favorite noises in all of Rust, is the new piping update. I don't know what it is about it, or initial update, excuse me, but I love the noise the pipe tool makes. You know, in the early game, you're probably not going to have a blocker or an AND switch, so you can erase this, or not, excuse me, erase this, but you can ignore this. You can just go straight from the branch we're going to put down here later into the splitter. But this is just comfort or creature comfort, and I just set it up for when we expand later. If you do happen to run into a blocker and an AND switch, it'll be nice, but sometimes you're not really that lucky. But you could just do just that branch. I just put down the E branch, and you can skip the blocker. The only thing is that the furnaces won't quote unquote turn themselves off, which they're not really turning off. You're just cutting power to them. And you can see right there, I just wired it directly up where I kind of messed up. But that's what you would do if you didn't have access to a blocker or an AND switch. And then right here, you're going to see where I messed up, and you're about to see one of the flaws in a knee, or excuse me, not a knee core, a knee capacitor. You'll see as soon as I empty that or break that circuit, it just reset itself. So now we just deleted all that energy that we'd been storing up. Pretty much just on this left conveyor, we're going to add all the ore filters. I'm not quite sure like what the best numbers to put here for the max are, but these are just what I found to be the best. They don't really fail me. I mean, it's not really that big a deal that you really hone it in on, you know, whatever fits in there for like one cycle for the conveyors to move it. You just want to make sure that all the ore doesn't get moved into there. Which, I mean, wouldn't be that big a deal, but it's more of a thing for, I don't know, I just like it where it's moving small amounts of ore at a time. Another thing to note here is that sometimes the system can get locked up because there's no ore to be moved. So you can see I disconnected that blocker there just so I can turn these on, and then I'll reconnect it. So I don't have to worry about the furnaces not working when I actually throw ore into there. Alright, so this is pretty simple, building floors 3 and 4. We're pretty much going to be repeating what we've done on floor 2, but we're going to be moving the stairwell to go up over to the left. We're always going to be putting it to the left where the solar panel is. So right there, we're not going to put any honeycombing. Right here, we are going to honeycomb a good little bit. Right here is true honeycomb. We're going to honeycomb that all the way up. Right there, we're not going to honeycomb because this is going to be our jump up. You can see I even just made sure. But remember, the golden rule is always as you're moving up to the left of your current jump up is where the next one's going to be. And there's no particular reason why I did this. Not that it makes it like more unrateable or anything like that. I just felt like it kind of helped with the foot traffic. Because we used to just have it on that one, like where my jump up is currently. You would just like run up, run over to the right, the doors will be there, and you'll see on the shooting floor we actually implement that. But I just found people constantly running into each other all the time, so it just kind of helped alleviate foot traffic. We're going to build this up just like normal. We're going to put our 2 loot rooms down. And then building the 4th floor is pretty much the same thing. So that's why we're going to pretty much speed through this. The only things is you're going to want to leave 4 of the honeycombs, where you're going to build the honeycombing out, but you're going to leave the walls open because that's where you're going to be placing your batteries on this 4th floor. You'll actually see later where we knock those walls out. Alright, so this is where we're going to be building the shooting floor. Pretty standard. You're just going to want to, on these left and right honeycombs from where you jump up, just throw the squares down. Then we're going to throw triangles so we can pretty much just square it out. I would recommend upgrading these to sheet metal if you're worried about people soft siding in, because this will be soft sidable. And then right here, this is where I was talking about the jump ups. This is what the jump ups look like in the old design. But right here, we're actually going to put those doors down because we kind of want to get people to have to run out and around, because you could put turrets down on these squares if you wanted to. But after that, we're just going to roof this up. If you're worried about twig cost, which I don't think you would be at this point, but there are some stability issues. So like right there, you can see it broke when I tried to place that too quickly. So just make sure you put those squares down, then you put the triangles where the flat side is against the wall, and then you'll be able to come in and put the other ones down. Next, we're going to be putting roofs down. This is just, pretty standard, I feel like. You could put a roof triangle and where you see that little gap on the triangles, but I tend to keep it open because I feel like it's nice for, just peaks. Next, we're going to be building our windmill towers. Luckily, there's just enough stability to where you can put 2 of these down and then put a square on top, and you'll be able to build 4 on the next layer up. This is also where we're going to be putting our turrets on this second level, on this first level on the wall frames. Because right now we're at level 6. You generally want to put turbines at level 8. So right now we're on 7, what we built, and this will be the 8th one. So you really don't have to build up too high to reach the turbines. Or not reach turbines, but reach the optimal build height for a turbine. And by optimal, I just mean that the power generation you're getting is a good amount for the upkeep that you're paying. Alright, so we finally hit the point where we have turbines and we want to start putting down some more higher cost electricity. So usually I tend to put my root combiners right there. It's just I feel like a good spot for the wind turbines. And I skipped placing the turbines down. I feel like you guys would know that the turbines went there. But what we're pretty much going to do is just run our power from each of our turbines to the bottom row of those root combiners, which we don't really have to worry about max depth errors because we don't have that many turbines. But if you're doing a lot of turbines, you always want to do your turbines in pairs and then hook all those up to combiners and then combine the combiners. Just because it helps you kind of skate by with with the max depth errors. So after we've done that, next we're going to hop down to our electrical room and we're going to build a knee core. This is where you're actually going to see where I was talking about 2 chapters ago about knocking the walls out. Right here I do it to put the batteries in. So you'll see I picked these 4. You could pick any 4 if you wanted to, but we're going to put batteries in there and then later put windows down. So you'll see I threw my batteries down. Every battery is going to need a splitter and a root combiner. Because we got to split the power between the 2 and then combine it back up. So you're about to see me wire all this up real quick. Normally too, you wouldn't want to run the wires the way I'm doing because you'd be kind of giving away like, oh hey, there's some important electrical stuff running through there, but all this has been honeycombed, so people from the outside won't be able to view this. Next, right here, we're gonna basically put another splitter and another root combiner because we want to split from this splitter into the other 2 splitters. You can see we already kind of jumped ahead to where I put these window frames in. Then right here we're going to put our reinforced windows down. Right here we're going to be building the almighty holy knee core. If you want more in-depth on how this works and how to build it, you can view my tutorial series on how to be a better Rust electrician. This was the first episode. I have been getting some critiques saying that I need to edit that video better, so I might redo it in the future depending on how the editing for this video is received, because I want to find a definitive editing style. But we're going to wire this up real quick. Basically what this is doing is just, every time you send power to a battery, you're paying a 20% tax because it's 80% efficient. And so we're going to send all of our power generation to pay for all of our circuits in our base, and then we store the rest. So you end up throwing a lot less energy away. And then if your power generation never meets your power demand, you'll just swap to battery power and then send all the power to the battery. So right now we're basically hooking the batteries up to the circuit so that they can feed the knee core as well as be fed by the knee core. Now we're going to go up here to where our root combiners were and combine those up, and then we're going to run this down to our knee core so we can start sending energy in and start charging those batteries. You really want to charge those batteries as soon as possible. Right here we're basically putting a branch down, so where our power delivery spine is going to be our electrical spine. So I'm just kind of prepping for that. This is where our e-furnace is going to be hooked up. And then now we're going to run down to our knee capacitor and we're going to discharge it. We had it unplugged for a while, but I hooked the solar panel up just to throw a little energy in there to show you that it will discharge, but we're just going to hook that up. It's going to run through the knee core and discharge everything. Alright, now that we've upgraded our electrical system to include knee core and an actual true electrical spine, we're going to connect to our e-furnace. And then we're going to upgrade our electrical furnaces into a 9-electric furnace. So the first thing you're going to do is remove this box because it's going to be in the way. And we're going to put down 4 splitters. Basically, if you have 9 divided by 3, that's 3. And just so happens to line up perfectly with the amount of outputs on a splitter. So every one of these splitters on the right is going to be one of the rows. So we're just going to rehook that back up. One of the big things you're going to need before you can start this project is you're going to need an igniter as well as a button. So you're going to see I place this first one down, get the igniter in, and then make sure you hook the igniter up to the button. Can't tell you how many times I just kept building furnaces and had to rip all this shit out. But we'll sit there, put that in, we'll build our second or third one, and then we will basically keep going. Just gonna pipe that up and we'll wire that to the other ones. You'll see here, or not other ones, excuse me, but to our second splitter. You'll see where I wired that up real quickly. And then here we're gonna do a jump cut because it's pretty much the same thing on the third row. But that's pretty much everything you have to do to upgrade it, and just put your box back down and you're pretty much good to go. Just remember that whenever the server does restart, it's going to turn all those furnaces off, so you're going to pretty much have to click that button once a day or once whenever the server restarts. We're going to come here, throw 35, and then we'll throw some more in there and you'll see it should click on. Right here you'll see I'm getting ready to click that button to prime it. I know it's ready. I hit it. I actually forgot to throw that in there or wire those up, so we're going to wire those up real quick. Alright, so now we're at the part where we're going to build our compound and gate walls. This is where I was talking about in the second chapter how we should have put that second tile in preparation. But you're pretty much going to come out 3 from the base on every side. We're just putting those wall frames there to signify that a SAM site's going to go there later. But you're going to place 3 and then another 3 from the SAM site. And then on that third one's where we're going to build our gatehouse. We're also going to be coming in here and putting half walls on top because this is where we're going to be putting our turrets down. So just make sure that you build for that and don't barricade on top of that without building this. Now we're going to be building our external TCs on all of these. You just basically want to go out 9 with triangles. Should work. If you run into an error where when you try to put a tool cupboard down, you need to go destroy the square next to where we have those wall frames for the SAM site. Just destroy that, and then you can come back and put a triangle down. You could do a square, but I like to do a triangle. So you'll see right there I removed it. I forgot to show it in there, but yeah, just disconnect it, and then you can throw your triangles down. Once you built all your gatehouses, now you're going to put walls down. I would definitely recommend testing. So you can see right there, I just removed walls where I tried earlier. and I messed up, but it's really an art to placing these walls down. Even just recently too, on Rusty Moose, Maine, I built this base and all the walls were completely fucked up. I had to put like a bunch of traps down and stuff to keep people from being able to jump in, but really work on your wall skills. But after that, next we're going to work on barricades. You're just going to throw triangles down like I did. It's basically going to give you the room to where you can place these. It'll allow you to place them, and then we're going to go back and destroy those triangles. So don't stone them up like I did. I mean, it's just because that's what Rusticated does, but you're going to place those and remove all that stuff, and then that right there should keep people from being able to easily jump into your gate. Alright, so we're at everybody's favorite part, which is how to set up turrets. Right here, you're going to see we're going to be throwing our turrets into our compound gatehouses. You're just going to want to throw these all the way around. It's 8 in total around the compound walls. After that, we're going to throw splitters into these little squares. You could use branches, but you can't run them all the way across the gatehouses. So it ends up just being, you have to, instead of putting splitters here, you'd put branches and you'd have 8 wires running out, right? So with this you have 4 wires. It's the lesser of 2 evils, and it costs like 4 more power. So I don't know, this is just what I do. After you've done that, I would wall this off, just because it keeps people from being able to destroy that. Up to you if you want to do that. Next we're going to do our roof turrets. So right under our turbines, we're going to throw these down. 1 for every turbine. This just pretty much keeps your roof locked down, because I tend to keep vending machines up here, as well as, you know, I might be up there roof camping. Who knows? Don't want a clan just dropping down one of any or Scrappy and taking my shit. Next, we're going to put these prison gates down. One thing I would do different is right there, you see I put the doors on the like insides pointing into the base. Instead, I would put these on the outside, so you can have them where you can like run up the roof, open it, jump in. Right here's where we're going to do our power delivery for all of our turrets. Right here on the jump up. So we're just going to wire that back up. Pretty much what we built for downstairs, but instead of running these to another splitter, we're just going to run these to our turrets. After that, we're going to add on to our electrical spine. We're going to need 2 more, 1 for the courtyard, 1 for the roof. You put these on the same circuit, but I like to differentiate them from each other. We're also going to put some switches down. You can use smart switches to keep people from being able to use them, besides people on the TC, as well as control them from your smartphone, but it's really up to you. The courtyard's going to have, I couldn't see what that was in Russ Watts, but that's basically, and I don't even think that's the complete one, because I was missing a couple Russ Watts. We'll see at the end of this chapter. I show both of them off. But pretty much from the branch, you're going to run it from the branch out into the power switch, and then from the power switch, we're going to run to our splitters. And these switches don't have to be here in the electrical room. You can put them wherever you want to. I just keep them in the electrical room, because we tend to keep a guy on the roof doing spotting and stuff, and so it's easy for us to tell him, like, hey, go hit that switch. Yeah, right here I'm reconnecting the turbines. Forgot to do that when we discharged the knee capacitor, but these are going to be the values you're going to want right there. Alright, so this is personally my favorite part of every base whenever I get this up, where you can actually see in your base at nighttime. You're only going to want to do this on the 4th floor because light will bleed down through 3 floors, including the floor it's on right now, so it really bleeds down 2. And this happens whenever you have your shadow cascade set to none in your settings. So I would definitely recommend that you turn that off. It's very broken. But you'll just hook these up, and then I will hook up a solar panel. We're going to run this to our blocker, and this is just going to turn the lights off during the day. So now we're going to come back to where we put those wall frames to show where our SAM sites are going to be. And we're basically going to build these up. I think it's like to level 9. I'm not quite sure, but we want to make sure that where we finish building is level with the top of our windmills, because SAM sites are going to shoot above them. So if somebody were to, be in the way of those wind turbines, it would actually shoot the turbines. Now it's not possible, they won't. And so we're just going to hook up all 4 of them, and then you're going to run your pass through to each of them, which I fucking wish turrets were like this, but they're not. After this, we're just going to add another E branch, set it to 101 because it's 25 per SAM site, and then 1 for the switch. So you'll see right there, I add my light switch. Or not my light switch, excuse me, normal switch. And then from the switch, you're going to run that to your first SAM site. And then that is SAM sites. Alright, so next we're going to build our sorting system. This is off of Extreme Speed's design. I pretty much use his design. He has a video that's really good for explaining this. But we're going to be hooking this up on every one of our loot rooms. Over most of them. Pretty much what you're going to need is 3 conveyors, 2 splitters, and 2 combiners for every one of the loot rooms, and then 4 adapters. And what I tend to do is the top 2 boxes are single boxes, and then I daisy chain the bottom 2 boxes. Because like the weapons box, like you're going to need 2 boxes for weapons. Clothes, you're going to need 2 boxes for clothes. And so what we're doing here is we're basically running from our combiner where the loot's going to come in, as well as all the other chests, and we're running that to our splitter. And then our splitters are being ran to our conveyors. And what this is doing is basically looping these boxes into each other. So all these boxes kind of work as drop boxes. So if you put a comp in the gun box, it'll move it from the gun box to the comp box, which is very nice. That's why I love this design. Usually too, I'll have all of our loot just scattered everywhere, and then I'll hook this up and then click a button, and it pretty much sorts all the loot to where it needs to go. And then from our boxes, you're going to see we're going to run from our boxes to our combiners. And this is what allows the boxes to feed back onto themselves. And you're pretty much just going to build what I built here in front of all your loot rooms. I believe we're going to have 4 in this base. After that, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to put my drop boxes down, which is just box, storage adapter, pretty simple stuff. And then after that, you're going to want to wire all of these up to one another, which you're seeing here. And then after that, you're going to put 1 conveyor down so we can basically move everything from our drop boxes to inside. We're going to put a combiner outside because you're going to have loot that comes in here, like from our main drop boxes. Then like our smelted ore is going to go in there. I also have like an oil refinery outside. We're going to hook that into the combiner. So that's pretty much what this is for. And then now what we're going to do, I removed my ore box, but we're going to put 2 boxes in here because our ore box is going to become an ore box as well as a buffer box. And so we're just going to put adapters, 2 sets of adapters on these boxes. One is going to be for the ore, which is going to be this back one. So you're going to see me wire these up. We're just daisy chaining this, so it doesn't matter which box the ore goes into, we'll be able to pull from it. And so this is going to take ore out of this box and then put frags back in. And then now we're going to go from our outside drop boxes where we have that combiner, and we're going to actually hook that up to these the old ore box. Now it's a buffer box as well. So you'll see I'm making it kind of look nice here. And then from here, do I show it? Yeah, I do. From here, we're going to send our output into the combiner on this first set of boxes. And so now all those boxes I had are pretty much self-sorting. But we're going to take from, because now we have to wire all these up, so we're going to take an output from one of these splitters and we're going to run it into the combiner on the next one. And so this is what you're doing, is you're basically just running from the splitter into the combiner. So you're going to see I'm going to run this upstairs to my loot rooms upstairs on the 3rd floor. It's funny, I have like just enough barely to make it up here. I have like enough length, but I run out of almost points I can place. And so you're going to see I'm running this up into the combiner. And then I'm going to go from this splitter into the next combiner. And then I'm going to take from this splitter and I'm going to run it all the way back into the first like sorting module that I had, or tier. That's what Extreme Speed calls them, the different tiers. And so this makes this basically a full loop to where all these boxes sort themselves as well as take loot. And so you're going to go around to all of these, you're going to add filters. So you'll see right there, I added construction. I usually combine my electrical and construction box. Right there I have ammo, and then the next one I believe is weapons, right? Then you'll see like right here, this is where I have my sulfur come in, my cooked sulfur, my metal frags, high quality. And then this one I don't think I had anything on it, so I just turned it off. And so now, after you've wired all these up, I forgot to show that, but it's pretty simple. We're just going to add another branch, wire all those up. Those last ones, you're going to run this out to the courtyard, where we have our first conveyor that moves everything from outside to inside into the buffer box. We'll turn that on, and then right here you're going to see I throw a whole bunch of ore in there, just everything in my inventory, because I have all this sorted. Besides the tools, I don't have the tools sorted. Well, the hammer at least. But you'll see I had some ore in there. I'm going to click it. Turn on the smelters. We're going to be smelting. You'll see that some of that stuff I had in my inventory actually made it into the construction electrical box. For example, that hammer that was in there, we don't have a filter set for that, so it's just going to chill in that buffer box forever until we specify a filter. Same thing with if you run out of space, stuff will chill in there. So constantly check your buffer boxes. That's going to let you know if certain boxes are full or if you just don't, or you're missing certain filters. Alright, and with that, we are at the end of the video. Thank you very much for everybody that made it this far. It really helps out. Right now I'm currently trying to achieve 1,000 subscribers, and I think it's like 10,000 watch hours or something. I think it is 10,000 watch hours. But that's the first goal that's been given to me by YouTube, so I'm trying to hit it, and we're doing pretty well. But yeah, if you guys want to learn more about rust electricity and get into some of the nuances of the circuits that were shown in this video, such as the knee core and the knee capacitor, you can check out my How to Be a Better Rust Electrician video. I'm going to also throw my socials up on the screen. Probably already did it. Right now I'm just recording. I haven't put anything on the screen yet. But if you guys want to reach out to me, the best place is probably going to be Discord, because I tend to be on Discord a lot. But I'm going to start doing the whole Twitter thing and all that. But thank you very much for everybody that watched. And yeah, take it easy.